Hi everyone. Okay, so this little journey through movies continues. My entire DVD collection, alphabetical order, video number 15 now. There is a playlist on my channel as well, so you can follow along that way. Let's go. Early film role here for George Clooney in The Peacemaker with Nicole Kidman, directed by Mimi Leder. Bit of a disappointing one, this one, but still not bad. Pretty good movie this, with Shia LaBeouf and Dakota Johnson, The Peanut Butter Falcon. Michael Bay's cheesy, over-the-top World War II epic, Pearl Harbor, with Ben Affleck and Kate Beckinsale. Michael Caine and Natalie Wood in Peeper. Great performance from Max von Sydow in this one, Pele the Conqueror, directed by Belair August, Oscar-winning movie. The follow-up to Train to Busan, this is Peninsula. And Cary Grant and Irene Dunne in Penny Serenade, directed by George Stevens. Aerobics and romance in Perfect with John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis. A really good one this, directed by Clint Eastwood with Kevin Costner, A Perfect World. The great Brian Dennehy with Aidan Quinn and Stockard Channing in Perfect Witness. Hey Yelp! Fun one this. This is the Hanna-Barbera collection of The Perils of Penelope Pitstop. Great movie from Olivier Assayas. This is in the Criterion Collection. Kristen Stewart in Personal Shopper. And directed by Mary Lambert and starring Fred Gwynne. This is Stephen King's Pet Sematary. And haven't watched this yet, but this is the remake with Jason Clarke. Walt Disney's Peter Pan. And Walt Disney's Pete's Dragon. David Lowery's remake of Pete's Dragon with Robert Redford. Natalie Bay in Le Petit Lieutenant. Humphrey Bogart, Leslie Howard and Bette Davis in The Petrified Forest. A cult classic, this is Don Coscarelli's Phantasm. And from 1935, a very early film from Hammer, this is Phantom Ship, or The Mystery of the Mary Celeste, with Bela Lugosi. Paul Thomas Anderson's Phantom Thread with Daniel Day-Lewis. And Jennifer Connelly and Donald Pleasance in the really bonkers Phenomena, directed by Dario Argento. Classic one this, James Stewart, Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn in The Philadelphia Story, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz. And Colin Farrell trapped in a phone box in Phone Booth, directed by Joel Schumacher. Early film from Darren Aronofsky, this is Pi. A tremendous Oscar-winning film from Roman Polanski, Adrian Brody in The Pianist. From Jane Campion, this is Holly Hunter and Harvey Keitel in The Piano. And from a play by August Wilson, who wrote Fences, this is The Piano Lesson. From director Michael Haneke, this is Isabelle Huppert in The Piano Teacher. A 3-disc edition here of Peter Weir's Picnic at Hanging Rock. Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby in A Piece of the Action. And here we have Pierrepoint, starring Timothy Spall. I did a video recently on my channel about all the various people that have been put in film who have been hanged by Albert Pierrepoint. Clint Eastwood and Bernadette Peters in Pink Cadillac. We Don't Need No Education, Pink Floyd's The Wall. And a set here of the Pink Panther movies. Walt Disney's Pinocchio. And from Roberto Benigni, this is his version of Pinocchio. From director Alexandre Aja, this is Piranha. Anna Kendrick in Pitch Perfect. And Pitch Perfect 2. A collection of Pixar short films. And directed by John Gilliman. I've talked about his filmography before on my channel. This is George Peppard in PJ. Ryan Gosling, Eva Mendes and Bradley Cooper in The Place Beyond the Pines. And Sally Field, Danny Glover, Ed Harris and John Malkovich in Places in the Heart. From the same team behind Watership Down, this is another animated classic that's also quite disturbing, The Plague Dogs. Great movie from Hammer with Andre Morel, this is The Plague of the Zombies. And possibly one of my favourite comedies, Steve Martin and John Candy, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Tim Burton's version of Planet of the Apes, starring Mark Wahlberg, and Oliver Stone's classic Platoon. Great movie from Robert Altman about Hollywood, The Player. And I really like this one, a black and white world finding colour in Pleasantville. Directed by Sean Penn, this is Jack Nicholson in The Pledge. And Meryl Streep and Charles Dance in Plenty. Jean Moreau in One Day You'll Understand. A classic movie from John Boorman with Lee Marvin, this is Point Blank. From director Catherine Bigelow, Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze in the classic Point Break. And a bit of Christmas fun from Robert Zemeckis, The Polar Express. The original Police Academy. And a documentary about police activity in the Bronx in 1976, The Police Tapes. A lot of people now picking up the 4K set of Jackie Chan movies, but this is Police Story and Police Story 2. I have Super Cop on Laserdisc. Ed Harris as Jackson Pollock in Pollock, and 2 sequels to Poltergeist. From Hayao Miyazaki, this is a Studio Ghibli, Ponyo, Fishy Fishy in the Sea. And from director Chris Smith, who did American Movie, this is The Pool. I've done a special video on this one before. This is Basil Dearden's Pool of London. And another one from Studio Ghibli, Porco Rosso. From 1948, this is Jennifer Jones and Joseph Cotton in Portrait of Jeannie. And one of the great disaster movies from the 70s, Gene Hackman in The Poseidon Adventure. From Carrie Fisher's autobiography, this is an adaptation of her Postcards from the Edge with Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine. And Kevin Costner wants to deliver your mail after the apocalypse in The Postman. John Garfield and Lana Turner in the original The Postman Always Rings Twice, which was remade with Jack Nicholson and Jessica Lange. And Richard Gere and Gene Hackman in Power, directed by Sidney Lumet. From director Robert Altman, A Prairie Home Companion, and directed by Griffin Dunn. This is Practical Magic with Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock. John McTiernan's classic Predator. And a little more disappointing, but not bad, Predator 2. From Hammer, this is Martine Bezic in Prehistoric Women. And Alec Baldwin and Meg Ryan in Prelude to a Kiss. Mark Harmon and Sean Connery in The Presidio, in which Sean Connery has a fight just using his thumb. And Christopher Nolan's The Prestige. It's just been remade as a series with Jake Gyllenhaal, but this is Harrison Ford in Presumed Innocent. I enjoyed this one. This was Dan Trachtenberg's updating of the Predator franchise, Prey. The 1940 version of Pride and Prejudice with Greer Garson and Laurence Olivier. Keira Knightley, Matthew McFadyen in Pride and Prejudice. Stanley Kramer's The Pride and the Passion with Cary Grant and Sophia Loren. And written by Jimmy McGovern, directed by Antonia Bird. This is Linus Roach and Robert Carlyle in Priest. A stammering Edward Norton made a huge impact in this one, Primal Fear with Richard Gere. And Gene Hackman, Lee Marvin and Sissy Spacek in Prime Cut. Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley in The Prince of Bel-Air. No Will Smith in this one. James Mason and Janet Leigh in Prince Valiant, directed by Henry Hathaway. Bob Hope and Virginia Mayo in The Princess and the Pirate. And from Tom Twyker, who also directed Run Lola Run with Franca Potenti, he reunites with her here in The Princess and the Warrior. With a script by William Goldman, this is a classic from Rob Reiner, The Princess Bride. An Oscar-nominated Russian movie from Sergei Bodorov, this is Prisoner of the Mountains. Both the 1937 and the 1952 version of The Prisoner of Zenda, one with Ronald Colman, the other with Stuart Granger. And from Denis Villeneuve, great performance from Hugh Jackman in this one especially, I think. Prisoners, also with Jake Gyllenhaal. Goldie Hawn in Private Benjamin. And from British director Peter Watkins, this is Privilege. From director Billy Wilder, this is The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. And Jack O'Connell and George Mackay star in Private Peaceful. John Huston's black comedy mobster movie Prizzi's Honor with Jack Nicholson and Kathleen Turner. And Yuan Bao and Sammo Hung in The Prodigal Son. From 1968, this is the Mel Brooks version of The Producers with Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel. And Jean Reno and a very young Natalie Portman in The Professional, or Leon, directed by Luc Besson. Western from director Richard Brooks, starring Burt Lancaster, Robert Ryan, Woody Strode. This is The Professionals. And from Ridley Scott, Prometheus. Tahar Rahim in Jacques Audiard's A Prophet. I've seen a few people talking about this Australian one recently, written by Nick Cave. This is Guy Pearce in The Proposition. From director Peter Greenaway, this is John Gielgud in Prospero's Books. And Goldie Hawn in Protocol. Taraji P. Henson is Proud Mary. And from 1981, slasher movie from Joseph Zito, The Prowler. Never disappoints, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. And then a triple feature here of Psycho 2, Psycho 3 and Psycho 4. Michael Mann's disappointing Public Enemies with Johnny Depp. And Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Good performance here from Christian Slater in Alan Moyle's Pump Up the Volume. And Arnie having an orgasmic experience pumping iron. Great movie from Paul Thomas Anderson, Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love. And comedy is a serious business in Punchline with Tom Hanks and Sally Field. Dolph Lundgren as The Punisher. And Patrick Allen there in Alistair MacLean's Puppet on a Chain. Horror movies Puppet Master 1, 2 and 3. A different thing this, adapted from a book by Robert A. Heinlein. This is Donald Sutherland in The Puppet Masters. The Purge, Anarchy. And from director Sidney J. Furie, who did another Vietnam movie called The Boys in Company C. This is Purple Hearts. Classic Prince in Purple Rain. One of my favourite Woody Allen movies, The Purple Rose of Cairo. And then finally for the P's, we've got John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton in Pushing Tin. Okay, I will leave it there for this video. Please leave me any comments that you have on any of these movies, and do join me again for the next instalment. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope the format is okay. Leave me any comments that you have. Okay, all the best to you. I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.